detail. I want to talk about today moving out. When I was 16 years old, I moved out of my mom's house to my husband, and that was like 17 years. So when I finally had to get out again on my own, there's a lot of stuff that I had to learn being a single mom and finding my own place for the first time. Shelters wasn't all they were expected to be. So I'm thankful to God He allowed me to find me and my kids' first place. It wasn't the best place. It was like two bedrooms, really kind of small for a woman and four children at that time. But thank God it worked out for us because in your own home, you get to set your own rules. Some of the things that people have asked me as far as young people moving out on their own, what all do we expect? What all do we have to do? Times have changed since the day when I had to move out. We're talking about the year 2000. So much has changed since then. Now we're talking about getting our own place. You got to come up sometimes with the first month's rent, the last month's rent, and then plus a security deposit. That's a lot of money to come up with at one time. And if you broke a lease on another unit or whatever, if you lived in a place before that, then here comes some more money. So when you get your own place, I'd suggest you save enough money. If you're staying with your parents, save enough money until you can afford to pay all three of those first, last, and deposits. Other than that, if you are a youngster, don't do like I did. Move out of the house at the age of 16. When sometimes staying with your parents, it could be a good benefit. Number one, you don't have to pay all of the bills, and most of the time, you don't have to buy all the food. Now, if you got a job and you're living with your parents, of course, it's okay to help your parents. Your parents helped you to get to a certain point. So if you're going to stay with them, it's almost like learning to be responsible once you get out there on your own. For example, if they're still paying rent, whether they bought their home or they didn't buy their home, once you start working, you put a little bit on the rent, you put a little bit on lights, gas, water, telephone, entertainment, whatever it is, and now you're getting familiar with making payments every month so that when you get out there on your own, you'll be able to do that. Only one thing about that is all of the bills and the rent is your responsibility. When you're in the parents' home, you can save money, put money aside, put your savings account to the side, and just start saving up that money so that when you're ready to get out there in the world, you're better prepared and you've saved enough money to do that. Also, I would like to say the safety in the home. Having children, you always monitor stuff. You try to get those little gadgets that cover up the sockets so kids won't stick nothing in them and get electrocuted. At the time, I think gas heaters as well as electric heaters is not a good thing to keep close to the bed or to the curtains or the windows because it could get overheated and cause a fire. That's one thing you do not want to happen in your new home. You want to make it safe whether you're by yourself or you're with your family. Some things I ran into as far as using gas, real gas for the first time with a gas stove is sometimes grease waste on the stove with the fire, and then if you don't have a fire extinguisher or nothing like that. The first time it happened to me, I almost panicked, but thank God I didn't panic. I just turned the gas off and watched what was happening. Some people suggest once you turn it off, you get away, you be safe, you go outside if it's something that you can maintain and cover up. Some people have used flour and poured it on where the fire is not so elevated, and never pour water on a fire burning because it's going to and you don't want to catch anything else. Try to be careful and responsible. If you smell even a hint of gas in your house, you can go around and search, and don't use no matches, no cereal lighter, none of that. You sniff around, but if it's getting so bad where the fumes are loud, you get yourself or you and your family, you go outside and you call your gas company and report it to them, and you stay out there for safety. Because I've been told even if the phone goes off or something else click, it can actually cause a lot of damage and harm. So we want to be safe. And if you're going to be out on your own for the first time, you can monitor things. If people knocking on your door, you never met them before, never saw them before, ask for their credentials and who they looking for before you open up your door. Keyholes is a must, but you still don't trust them on that. Be safe and secure. We're not saying being terrified and afraid to leave your home and to invite people in your home. But if they're strangers, always be careful opening up the door. as well as talking to them. You can talk to them from the other side of the door. Nothing wrong with that. It's called being safety and precautious. So monitor that. That's what I want to say about your home. Take your time as far as getting furniture. If you can't get it all at one time, ask a few friends that might be one helpful to donate this or to donate that. If you want to do it all on your own, just buy one item at a time, what you need the most. Don't overstress yourself. Don't be afraid of staying by yourself, but always remain in contact with people when you're doing it the first time, whether it's your parents or friend, close friend or whatever, so that everybody knows what's going on. I know we like to be private. We don't want anybody to know what we're doing, but it's called being safety, especially when you're going out there for the first time on your own. I went out there, but I had my kids with me, but I'm like the head of the household, so I had to make sure everything was done safely, made sure that the windows were closed, strangers wasn't just coming and knocking on my door, and I made sure my kids don't open up the door for strangers while I was at work or doing anything. So we can learn from our mistakes and move forward. And like I said, staying with your parents might seem, I'm ready to go. I just want to get out of here. I understand that. But when you realize how much pressure is being put on you once you get out there by yourself, it could be very frightening and it could be very discouraging. So I suggest take your time, be patient and understanding, and try to do what's best for you before you leave your parents and go out there into this world that has different stipulations and rules than it is with you living with your parents. So I suggest start saving your money if you're going to work. Learn to build your responsibility so when you get in your own place, you know how to take care of your own bills, you know how to pay your own rent. Because guess what? When it's due the first of the month, it's going to be due the first of the month after that, and so on and so on. So practice responsibility skills so that when you get your own place, you'll do just fine. But always remain in contact with someone when you're doing it for the first time and feel safe and secure about yourself as well as in your home. Take care.